Rated as a leader? I have, and I'm sure you have too. In this video, I'm going to share with you what you do not, and I repeat, do not want to do as a leader when you are frustrated. Now, you want to watch this video until the end because I'm going to share with you over 20 years worth of experience as a C-suite executive, as a director and a manager. I've been in some really friendly situations and some very contentious situations. I'm going to share with you specifically what I do when I am frustrated as a leader in hopes that it will help you to be able to manage yourself and control your emotions as a leader. Because guess what, leader? People are looking up to you and they are looking up to you every single day, even on those very stressful and frustrating days as well. And that's why you are here. If you clicked on this video, you're frustrated. You're frustrated as a leader, and you're supposed to be here to hear this message. And I'm really glad to be able to be a part of your journey to help you. I hope you gain something out of this video to help you go to that next level. Now, if you're new to me, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you are a subscriber, welcome. And I appreciate you being here as well. This is a live video. Therefore, if you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend. And I'm glad that you're here. There is typically a point in time in the YouTube videos where people will join the conversation. Give me just a few moments to say hello to everyone, and then we're going to go into what you do not want to do when you are frustrated as a leader. And if this sounds good to you, are you frustrated today? Are you frustrated today? I've been frustrated. Let me know if you're frustrated in the comments below. And if you like this information so much, this far, you know what to do. Give it a like, a thumbs up. It does really help it go out in terms of the content to other people that are looking for this type of information as well. Now, this channel, we focus heavily on advanced level communication strategies and skills to help you as a leader communicate confidently under pressure. Now, in terms of my executive coaching and consulting practice, I work with women in leadership. That is my main target audience. However, I do have many individuals that are not in my target audience that are wonderful subscribers or followers on different platforms that I have accounts on. So you may be a woman that's not a leader yet. You may be a man in leadership. You may be a man that's not a leader yet. You will learn a lot of universal information here on this channel that will help you go to that next level in your career as a leader. Now, I want to say hello to those of you who have joined. Welcome, welcome. Let me know. Have you ever, ever felt frustrated as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've ever felt frustrated. We're going to talk about today what I do not want you to do. What I do not want you to do. And if you like this information so far, you really like this title, maybe you're feeling frustrated today, friend. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to learn more. Now, oftentimes what happens in the wonderful world of leadership, we are caught off guard. Have you ever been caught off guard as a leader? I have. And sometimes, and I appreciate the heart emojis, friend. Sometimes what happens when we are caught off guard as leaders is that we don't have time to process the information and we become frustrated. We become very frustrated. Maybe our boss is giving us a hard time. Maybe there's a deadline we're trying to meet. We can't meet it. Maybe a stakeholder is upset. Maybe we have another constituent that's mad. There's a lot of things that happen to make people feel just frustrated as leaders. Now, what I want to remind you is that when you are in a leadership role, literally all eyes are on you all of the time. Therefore, when you have those situations come up and you're really frustrated as a leader, you have to be very, very, very mindful of what you are saying and what you are not saying and how you are conducting yourself when you're frustrated. Now, let me know in the comments below where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. I appreciate you being here today and say hello. Say hello. Say hello so we can have a conversation. As I mentioned, leaders, we're constantly in these situations where we may be caught off guard and we become very, very, very frustrated. Now, let's talk about what you do not want to do when you are frustrated. This is why you're here. When you are frustrated as a leader, it is very easy, extremely easy for you to react in a way where your frustration comes back to somebody else. Easy to do, easy to do, because we're humans at the end of the day. And some of us process information differently. Some of us may have a bit of a harder time being able to process information and be able to take the emotions out of the situation, especially if you're under pressure. If you're under pressure, then this is absolutely the channel for you. You will learn a lot of information here in terms of how to communicate as a woman in leadership, or if you happen to be outside of the target audience, maybe you're a man in leadership, or a woman that's not a leader yet, or a man that's not a leader yet. You're going to learn a lot of information about communicating under pressure here. I have a couple live videos I do want to mention to you quickly that talk about controlling your emotions under pressure. That will be a great supplement to this video that you can watch that will give you some more skills and strategies that will help you. So take a look at my live tab on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of live videos. Believe it or not, today I have 800 videos on my YouTube channel. Can you believe that? I've done 800 videos on my YouTube channel. I did not know that until vidIQ let me know that today. But there's a lot of information there to really help you go to the next level. Now, as I mentioned, as leaders, we get really frustrated and we sometimes will have that frustration go out to our teams, go out to our direct reports, and etc. You do not want to do this. Do not do this. No, no, no. Do not do this. Why? Because when you as a leader take that moment to have that frustration, go off to someone else, that person will forever, ever look at you just a little bit differently as a leader. And this, my friends, is the quickest way for you to start to destroy your executive presence. Now, let me know in the comments below. Have you ever been frustrated as a leader? I would like to know because I know I'm not the only person, the only leader, the only C suite or senior leader that's ever been frustrated. I know I'm not the only one. So let me know if this happened to you in the comments below and what did you do? How did you manage that situation? So I mentioned to you what I do not want you to do. I do not want you to take that frustration you have and give it to somebody else because one, that impacts your team. They feel that frustration and they pass that frustration to someone else and they pass it to someone else. It's almost like a very, very, very bad game of telephone, right? Telephone game. Have you ever played telephone game? I have. And telephone game, the message changes every single time. What I found that when the frustration happens and when the leader gives their frustration and showcases it to their direct reports or the people they work with, it is like the telephone game, but I have found that it becomes worse. Every single person that hears this frustration or feels this frustration when you're talking to them, they become frustrated. And their frustration starts to become more amplified to the people they're talking to. And then more people get frustrated. And then more people become frustrated. And I've noticed that it just goes to that next level where someone is doing something in a very obvious or very aggressive type of way where they might be slamming a paper down or tossing something or just doing things that are really inappropriate in a workplace setting to do that. So I want to say hello to Real D Diane X. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you're joining from, and if you've ever been frustrated as a leader. I appreciate you being here today. Now, we talked about what you do not want to do. You do not want to give your frustration to other people, especially as a direct report. One, it's going to cause your executive presence to go way down very fast. And then number two, your team is going to forever look at you differently and they're going to think to themselves, this leader, they don't know what they're doing. I saw them get frustrated. They don't know what they're doing. All right. So before I go into what you do want to do when you're frustrated as a leader, let me see something's going on in the chat. Real D Dionx is says, I'm in USA. Well, welcome, welcome, friend. I'm in the sunshine state of Florida. Now, what do you want to do as a leader when you are frustrated? This is what I have done over the past 20 years as a C suite executive and a director. And this has helped me out many times in senior leadership roles and in just very contentious situations. I've interacted with different congressional members over the years on the national level here in the United States and also in the local level here in the state of Florida. But there's a lot that you can do, and I just wanna share with you at least one insight, one strategy in terms of how you can manage this. Now, before I do that, something's coming up in the chat. So, Real D Dion X says, probably just being mad. So some people, some people act that way. You'll see them as leaders, Dion X, where they just get really upset and they act mad. And so you do not want to be that leader. If you're watching this channel or subscribe to my channel, you know this. We're going to make sure that we present ourselves as leaders that are very elevated, that are very mindful in terms of how they communicate. So what can you do? What can you do when you're frustrated as a leader? I want to know before I go into what I personally do, what do you all personally do when you're frustrated as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. One of the things that I do is that I take a moment, and sometimes we don't really know we're frustrated. We are acting it's as if we are reacting to it, but we haven't really acknowledged that. Oh, I'm frustrated right now. I'm really frustrated. And so I found that it's helpful to take a step back and say, what's really going on here? And think about it. It might be a situation that happens. I looked at the chat. Dion X says, I can take a break or something calming. That is fantastic. And I appreciate you so much for mentioning that, because that's a really great way to help you to not be so frustrated as a leader. And I actually want to add to that, Dion X, that I do that also. I take a break, and that's what I'm about to talk about now. Is I like to take a break. So I really do. When those crisis situations happen as a leader, many of you know we are in the constant hot seat all of the time. And when those situations come up, I really do think, and I take a moment. Maybe sometimes I have to walk outside. Excuse me. Sometimes I may have to just give myself a moment to myself and say, what is the real problem here? What is the real problem? Because when we are able to think of the real problem and take the emotion out of it, we can sometimes deduct what the issue is. It may be an issue where something's wrong with the system in your business. It could be an issue where someone said something inappropriate and they shouldn't have said it. It could be a situation where someone was not supposed to present information, but they did, or maybe they didn't present information, or maybe they didn't finish a project. There are so many things that can happen, but you have to figure out what is the real issue here. What is the real issue? And from that, then you start to realize that, okay, the real issue is this. This is why I am frustrated, because this did not happen. The next thing that I do is I determine, what can I do to solve this problem? Now, if it's something that has happened with a lot, maybe with your team members or etc., then think about what are some strategies that you can do to help them solve the problem. How can you take the stress off of yourself? Because when you are frustrated, you may give it to your team, and I don't want you to do that. So think about, we figured out what's the issue, and then how can we solve it? It may require you to have a conversation with someone. It may require you to have to change a process. It may require you to update something. I don't know. It just really depends on what the situation is. But you might need to do some additional work or have additional conversations to solve the problem. Now, once you have figured out what you can do to solve the problem, then the next step is to take the emotions out of it. Take the emotions out. If you have determined what the real issue is, number one, number two, you have determined that I need to figure out a solution. This is the best solution. And as Dion X mentioned, take a break, do something calming that will help you to relax. And three, you want to make sure that you're just in a good position to really be someone that people can actually listen to. So you want to just be really mindful in terms of how you are communicating when you are very, 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 very frustrated. It's easy to do that. You may need to have a conversation, but you have to have that very heightened sense of awareness within yourself that you are frustrated. Acknowledge that you're frustrated, figure out what is it that's going on, what's the solution, and then what's the next step that you need to do to fix it. What is it specifically? And how can it be solved in a way that's not continuing to stress you out or frustrate you? Because sometimes it may be just a simple conversation where you tell somebody, excuse me, you cannot do this at this particular time, or you can't do this. And you've told them, and that helps take the stress off of you. So if you can start learning how to do that, when you speak to people, even when you're frustrated, you're going to come across as a person that is very calm, that is very focused, that knows what to do and can manage a crisis situation instead of being the leader that just goes off on people when they're really upset and really mad, which is the reason why people tend to look at you differently when you show or bring your emotions out when you're frustrated. Now, are there times when you need to strategically showcase your emotions when you're frustrated? Absolutely, there are. But those should be the exceptions, not the norm. You should not do this all the time. I know people, I've had direct reports that were very much the individuals that had a hard time managing themselves when they were placed under pressure by, let's say, a boss or someone else, they would constantly bring that frustration out to other people. And then they would realize it, and then they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got a lot of pressure going on. This boss told me this," and etc. By that time, your team member is going to say, "Oh, it's okay. We understand." But as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, they will forever think of you differently by the way that you responded. And you want to make sure you're speaking to people in a very calm, compassionate, and appropriate way in either your businesses or the organizations you work for in those type of settings. Because if you decide you want to be frustrated and yell at somebody, guess what? That's a perfect opportunity for you to have a conversation with human resources. It is. And you don't necessarily want to have a conversation with human resources over something that you could have completely controlled if you took a few moments to just pause, take a break, and really think through what the main issue is so that you can solve it as a leader. Now, I'm sharing this with you because if you're watching this video, you are obviously frustrated. You're frustrated about something, and I just don't want you to make the mistake I've seen so many leaders make when they are under pressure. They don't know how to handle it. And you may think, oh no, people don't do that. You would be completely surprised, friend, how many times I've seen this happen where people got really, 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 really frustrated with the roles that they're in, and they gave that to their team, and then they start wondering, why does my team look at me this way? Why do they disrespect me? Why do they act weird, etc.? And no one should be disrespected completely. No one should be disrespected. But there are things that we do sometimes to ourselves as leaders that take our executive presence from way up here to way down here. And when that happens, you have to be able to deal with the consequences of it and do what you can to try to build it back up. Now, earlier this morning, if you missed the live, we talked about how to speak confidently as a leader. Some really great information there. So feel free to take a look at that video. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of videos here on my channel that talk about different aspects of having those very advanced elite level communication skills. One of the videos I mentioned to you earlier that will be a really good supplement to this video specifically is controlling your emotions under pressure. Take a look at my live tab and watch some of those videos that talk about controlling your emotions under pressure, having difficult conversations, and etc., because those will be able to add on to what we talked about here in terms of how you start to control your emotions as a leader when you're very, very frustrated. Now, I want to thank you all so much for being here on the video. I appreciate you so much. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who may have missed it, and I appreciate you being here, say hello. Feel free to say hello. I'm glad that you stopped by today. But one of the things that I wanted to mention to you is that we are at 552 subscribers, which is so exciting. I am so thankful for all of you for being a part of my journey here. I really want to support you. So let me know what questions, what challenges you all have as it relates to being a woman in leadership. If you're my direct target audience that I provide one on one executive and consultation services too, or in a group setting, let me know. Or if you happen to be a man in leadership or a woman that's not a leader or a man that's not a leader just yet, then let me know, what are you struggling with? What are some topics that you want to learn more about? I'm really here to support you. And I promise you, if you have a topic that is in the world of leadership and communication, I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out on the video as well. Just let me know how I can support you, what question you have. You all have been incredibly supportive of me and of my business here at Excite Excellence Incorporated and my channel here on YouTube. And I want to be able to give back to you all and share with you some of those insights that many times people just absolutely have no idea as to what they should do or how they should do it or how they should manage it as a leader. I genuinely believe that people become great by how they communicate. And my mission here on this earth is to help unlock the greatness within you. And I do that by helping you to learn those very advanced level communication strategies and skills that a lot of times many leaders do not have, which is why you will stand out from everybody else. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. I look forward to seeing you all in the next live, and I will see you in the next video.